Hey, what is going on, all my fellow godlies and Warframe enthusiasts around the world? I am Vance from the popular web series Warframe God Builds, and finally, Oberon is at a place where he is acceptable in the world of Warframe. Wow, did it take him so long? No, I am not correcting myself. When I released the video for Oberon is still bad, he still was bad. See, what happened there was shortly after we released that video, they then made another update which allowed Renewal to be a toggle. And many people think that that's a bad thing, but actually I made that be one of Oberon's strengths with this build. See, I was determined to develop a build for Oberon mains to go to Mott survival and do endurance runs with, and alas, I finally found something that is incredibly acceptable. Not just acceptable, but beyond expectations. I'm gonna go so far as to say this though. You have to be very build specific with this build. There's no room for any other mods. I mean, even Phoenix Renewal is sacrificed, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. You have to build this way. There's no other way to build for Oberon. I really don't want to seem like I'm being an asshole or arrogant here, but there's really no other way that's gonna push Oberon as far as what he can really go, as far as his peak performance. With this build, you're probably gonna end up sacrificing Hollow Ground, but that's okay. You cast it once, and then really quickly you cast Renewal. Make sure that your allies are within the area, that way they can get the buff too, because your power duration is at 12%, so it's not going to be worth a shit. However, your power strength is through the roof, so what that means is that anytime you get hurt, you're going to regen almost instantly. And this is foolproof. This works for your companions, this works for your allies, this works for everybody on your team. And the more you get hurt because of rage, the more energy you get. You also need Energy Siphon and Zenuric Lens. This build is power hungry as all fuck. You cannot, and I stress, you cannot have anything other than Zenuric, Energy Siphon, Rage. Even our weapon that we're using is for energy. And even then, even still, I would suggest investing in buying Arcane Energize and a full set of it, because this build is so power hungry. However, it is strong. It is so strong that it can be comparable to Wukong or Rhino or Chroma. It's really that strong. Before you start talking shit in the comments, go ahead, go try it. But I'm proud to announce how far Oberon has come. But you're probably wondering this: why is Phoenix Renewal absent from this setup? Well, that's a good question. I would ask DE the same question if I didn't already know the answer to that. See, what happens is you want to go into a mission, you want to activate Hollow Ground, and then you want to do Renewal so that you get the armor bonus. It's like plus 500 armor or something. Everybody gets that armor bonus, and it doesn't fade. It doesn't go away unless you lose energy or you get downed. However, when you use Phoenix Renewal, that armor bonus has a duration. It is one of the most, if not the most, retarded thing I've ever seen Digital Extremes do. We utterly needed Phoenix Renewal at one point in time, and we still kinda do. But it's just a shame that they want to put a duration on the Renewal when it has Phoenix Renewal in it. It doesn't make sense to me. I think that they should just throw the duration off completely. That way you could throw Phoenix Renewal in, because all of these mods that I'm showcasing here, you utterly need. So putting Phoenix Renewal in here would sacrifice one of these that makes this build so strong, and therefore it would balance itself out. They don't need to worry about balancing it by giving it a duration. What the hell is that? I don't even understand the mentality of that. Whoever had that idea, bad idea. They need They need some type of critical life lesson. But moving on, that's why Phoenix Renewal is not here. It's a shame that we can't defy death. You're just going to have to struggle to stay alive. Not that that's going to be very hard, because you're going to need to use your skill to use Smite, do a CC cluster bomb that will confuse enemies into fighting each other. It's really not hard to play Oberon. Just keep in mind that when you're in a stressful situation and you're being crowded, too many enemies are shooting at you, or you're getting knocked down all over the place, just do a Smite. Do a Smite and then use the primary that I'm about to show you right now, which is Cyanoid Simulor. Now before I get into this, I'm going to sound super contradictory because back at the Mirage God build, I pretty much insulted this weapon. I pretty much shamed anyone for using it. I pretty much made fun of all the Mirage players out there who use Cyanoid Simulor, and I'm still gonna make fun of all the Mirage players who use Cyanoid Simulor. It's just stupid and redundant. The damage for Cyanoid Simulor used to fall off, but alas, that's just not the case anymore. Many people think that Cyanoid Simulor got a nerf, and in fact, it got a huge buff. It doesn't work the same for Mirage players. Good grief, and I am so happy that they nerfed it for Mirage players. But it's a buff for anybody else who uses it normally. Especially in the case of Oberon, because he needs Cyanoid Simulor for pretty much everything. It's another thing that you can't afford to do without in this build. I wish I could say that you could replace this weapon with another primary, but you just can't do it. You need its damage, you need the energy return from the Syndicate benefit, you need everything about it. It's got good CC, it's got everything you're looking for, it's got good damage, but the tactic that you're going to want to use when you're playing this is you're going to want to run into enemy units and you're going to shoot the orbs out and then detonate it straight in their faces. When you detonate it, it CCs, it automatically staggers pretty much everybody, regardless of who they are. But the heavily armored units, such as the bombards, the heavies, they're going to take a lot more beating than your less armored units. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to pop a bunch of the orbs straight in their face, cause it to make a vortex, and keep shooting orb after orb after orb after orb. That way when you detonate it, it does more damage. And in some cases, that's still not going to do the trick. So that's why you got to rely on your melee for that. But for everything else, this is perfect. This is exactly what you need. I can't see you using anything else. I would ill-advise you to use anything else because you utterly need the energy gain, you need the CC, you need the damage. So moving on to the melee, which can be swapped to a preference of your choice, as long as it does good quick attacks and good spin damage. Spin damage is not as important as the quick attacks, but the spin damage usually does more damage than quick attacks. So that's the reason why I'm choosing Ohm. I really love the Ohm because it just does a tremendous amount of damage. And it's primarily from the spin attack, and if you rock a build something like this, you're never gonna see a heavy or a bombard take any more than like 3 hits. Even in the sortie that I did the other day that was like level 90 Eximus units, we all know that Eximus units hit harder, they take more of a beating because they have more health, they have more armor. So level 90s end up performing like level 110s if we're lowballing them, level 120s if we're highballing them. So I was still able to take them out within 3 hits. Most of the time it was not 3 hits, it only took 2. So, and they weren't even in weakened states. So just keep that in mind. You need a really strong melee weapon, and you can't afford to have it out. That's why quick attack is more important than any other weapon that you choose. You need to have Cyanoid Simulor out at all times, that way you're getting your energy back, because like I said, this is a very expensive build. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg. For secondaries, I'm not going to really recommend anything, because if you're still using Static Core, well, it really doesn't matter what secondary you're using, because you're not going to be able to use it really. You're going to need to use your Cyanoid Simulor and your Oma at all times, or the melee of your choice. But real quickly, if we go back to visiting the Helminth Charger build, which I've showcased I think a couple of times already, I still don't have it complete. I only have 5 format in. I'm either going to put 6 or 7 in. And that's because all of these mods that I have here are pretty much a staple. The new mods that they put in for the helmet charger, the proboscis, the trample, I'm not entirely sure what exactly they do, but because they're, you know, a helmet charger specific mod, then they've got to be staples for this build. So with Bite and Maul, it's going to be doing really, really good damage. That Link armor is going to help out, especially with Oberon, because of the armor increase, the buff that you're going to get. The Link health, not that it's going to matter because you're going to be healing the absolute shit out of it. Anytime that it gets damaged, you're just going to regen him. Pack Leader isn't even needed for this build, so you could just throw it out if you didn't like it. But I put Pack Leader in at all times. Just keep in mind that if you wanted to throw something in like Link shields, then what you're going to need to do is Forma an additional 2 more times, which will bring you up to a total of 7 Forma on a helmet charger. And I don't know if people want to waste that many Forma on a companion, but I do. I definitely want them to be all that they can be. I will eventually see this build through, but I'm just advising you now, even though it's not ready to go. If you didn't want to put Link shields in, because it doesn't really make sense with Oberon, you don't need the Link shields as much as you need the armor and the health, go with the Meta Pet Kit, or go with Scavenger. That way you can get loot from lockers. With Scavenger, you won't need to Forma any more than 6 Forma. But with Link shields and Meta Pet Kit, you're probably going to need that 7th Forma. Everything else is staples here. You absolutely need the Animal Instinct on every companion, regardless of what it is, regardless of what you're doing. You're going to need Animal Instinct, period. And that's pretty much it for the companion. But real quick, I am going to show off Zenuric. Not that I need to show it off, because it was pretty much showed off the entire season of God Build Season 3. But you're going to want to go with Energy Overflow. You're going to want to go with Systemic Override. Energy Overflow is the one that you want to prioritize over anything. And then Systemic Override taking a back seat here. But you absolutely need the energy. Like I mentioned before, you need Cyanoid Simular, you need Rage, you need Energy Siphon. And I didn't showcase it, but you also need a Coaction Drift as well. And the reason why I didn't put that in is primarily because, well, Oberon Prime is right around the corner, so I didn't want to invest any more Forma into the build. But you would probably need to put Coaction Drift in to help out with the Energy Siphon. You just need energy. Normally, I don't need energy. This build, it's not like this build runs out of energy too fast. It's just in a hectic situation, or when you're reviving a teammate, you will eventually run out of energy, and it just drains so fast. Because of this build, it drains so fast, and you really need to keep an eye on it. That's the #1 weakness with Oberon right now. That's the only kryptonite that he suffers, is the fact that he loses energy too fast. But other than that, all in all, he is a solid Warframe now, and I'm so excited to say that. This is probably the happiest I've ever been with a build, because I've literally seen a Warframe have so much potential, yet be right there at the bottom with all the Warframes that we don't ever touch because they're borderline useless. That and the fact that his parts drop literally everywhere, and he's the easiest freaking frame to get in the game. However, like nobody used him because he just wasn't viable, and I am just so happy to see him at a place where he can stand toe to toe with the Rhinos and the Chromas, and even out heal Trinity. Not really. I mean, Trinity does an instant heal, and he does a heal over time. But either way, I consider his heal better than Trinity's. To me, I mean, I just prefer Oberon's heal because there's no stopping it. Even as you're taking damage, it's a retroactive thing. It doesn't care about the damage. It will just keep healing you no matter what. Whereas Bless, you have to activate it every time you're hurt. And Renewal, you just toggle it on. You just toggle it on. It's fucking magical. I'm so satisfied with this build. And before you motherfuckers go into the comment section and start talking shit, you might want to try it to see how fucking awesome it is. And if you like this video, it's always nice if you smash that like button. Always helps out. Check out our Facebook fan page where you can get up to the minute details on what I'm doing, why I'm doing, how I'm doing. We got a Patreon that's coming soon because I'm working on some behind the scenes stuff. There's a lot of different things that I want to do with my YouTube page other than Warframe that's related. I'm trying to get the ball rolling. I recently moved from Jamaica, New York to upstate Syracuse, New York, so I'm here now, and that was why there was delay in content. But other than that, I'm here and I'm gonna be rolling out stuff for you guys, so smash that like button, do as I always tell you to do, subscribe, comment, hell, you can send me hate mail, I don't care. But until next time, this has been Vance, signing off. Peace!